First I'd like to thank Tamika. We go way back. I've been trying to when I was trying to get into TCU and do some business, she was one of the first people I talked to. And I thought she didn't like me at first, or she didn't like my products, until I realized later that my products just really weren't that good. And once my products got better, she started doing business with me, and started opening doors for me, introducing me to some other people. So I'm really grateful for our friendship over the years. I want to talk about purpose, and the reason I'm talking about purpose, and I know a lot of people are, books have been written, there's a whole industry on purpose. I think people have it wrong. I think two common mistakes people make is that they say that purpose is passion, which is not. And the other thing that people overlook is the role of purpose plays in eliminating people's personal bias. Which is, I think the purpose of purpose is to eliminate the bias other people have toward you or to people who look or in your group. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to put that part. Now, first I'm going to say that what purpose is not your passion. What purpose is a once-in-a-lifetime problem that someone else has that only you can solve. A once-in-a-lifetime problem that someone else has that only you can solve. Purpose problems have 5 elements to them, 5 elements, and I gave each a number. 00110. 00110. First zero expectations. It is not a problem you're looking for. Purpose is not a problem you're looking for. If you get up every morning and the problem, if you're looking for the problem, it's not purpose, it's expectation. So purpose has 0 expectation. It's an unexpected problem. You have 0 obligation to solve the problem, which means it's not your job, it's not your immediate family, it's not something you have to do. You have a choice. Purpose problems, you're the one person who can solve the problem. You look around, you're the only person to solve it because you're the only person there, or the only person with the talent and the skills or the will to solve the problem. It's a once-in-a-lifetime problem, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to solve the problem. It's not a problem you can put off till next week or next year. It's a problem that has a narrow time frame in which to solve it, and you only get one opportunity to solve it. If you fail to solve it, or if you fail to take advantage of the opportunity to solve it, the problem's gone forever. And you may say, well, with all of that, why would I want to solve it? Well, you want to solve it for the most important 0 in life, and that's 0 regrets. Not 0 debt, 0 regrets. You want to have 0 regrets. It's good for your mental health. So you want to solve a purpose problem because those are the problems that leave you with the biggest regrets, because they're once in a lifetime problem. Let me give you an example. And this is how the whole journey started for me. I just started my business. I'd gone from hobby to hustle to now it was how I was going to make my living. It was a 10-year journey. And I finally was the point in my life to say, okay, I can get paid to do what I love. My passion has finally become practical. And I'm going to the gas station. I'm in a hurry. All of those pumps are full. So I got to wait. One of the pumps opens up, pull in, jump out of the car, take my card out of the buzzer, swipe my card, look at the screen that says, you got to go see the attendant. The card reader's not working. I'm like, okay, great. Now I got to wait some more. I go get in line, there's one guy ahead of me. I got to wait for him. He's having issues. He says, so he talks to the attendant, he says, $5? They ran his card, no. $2? No. And it's like, okay, this guy didn't have $2 on his card. And he's walking away, he's pretty dejected. And I say, hey man, I got you. And he says, how much, $2? I was like, no man, let's do $10. And I run my card for him, $10 for him. Then I run the card for me to fill up my tank. And afterwards, I'm thinking to myself, what is that? Like, it's not passion, because if it was passion, I would hang out at gas stations and look to help people. And one thing about me, I don't help people at gas stations. You know, if people come up to me at gas station, I'm sorry, I don't help them. So it's not my passion, and I just started my business, so money is tight, which means it's not practical for me to be giving away money. So if it's not passion, and if it's not practical, it's like, wait a minute, maybe this is purpose. And I was like, I think I've discovered purpose. Now let's put in the numbers. 0 expectations. I wasn't at the gas station expecting to help somebody out. Not something I was looking to do. 0 obligation. I didn't know him, I didn't owe him. I was the one person who could help him. No one else was stepping up. If someone else said, no, I got him, I'm like, fine. but no one else offered to help the young man. So I was the one person who could. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In other words, I couldn't say, well, I'll get you next time. No, it was just one and done. And I can tell the story now with zero regrets. I can tell the story now with zero regrets because I did what I believe to be the right thing. The other thing I say about purpose is the only area of your life where you can say, I won. You know, I won. I'm a big sports fan. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. And we won the title, but, you know, we got to win again. Like, we got 18 banners, but I'm thinking, well, we need 19, we need 20. In other words, you're never satisfied. Purpose is an area where you're satisfied, where you can win and walk away. It's the only game in life where you can be successful and satisfied. So I say you won because you can walk away. That's something you can't do with your passion. Anything you're passionate about, you can't do it one time and walk away. Purpose, you can solve a once-in-a-lifetime problem for someone else and walk away from it and never have to see that problem again. In other words, I never have to be in that situation again. I don't look for that situation. I don't go to the gas station looking for, oh man, I can't wait to help someone else who's short on them, who can't put gas in the car. Not something I'm looking to do. I'm good. I don't need that anymore. I can walk away from it. Purpose is always and always over and above your expectations. There's no area in your life where you can say it's always over and above your expectations. Purpose is always over and above your expectations. Why is purpose always over and above your expectations? Because you start at what? Zero expectations. If the expectation is zero, you can go nowhere else but up. So that's the difference between purpose and passion. You walk away from it, it's over and above your expectation. And the final thing is, no one loses. No one loses. I have a friend who's a police officer. Shout out to my friend Chris. And he says, hey, I was talking about this, and he said, yeah, but my passion is my purpose because, you know, I'm in law enforcement. And as long as I do my job in a compassionate way, I feel this is my purpose. I was like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying, but if you're giving me a ticket, or if I'm the person being arrested, I don't feel like it's purpose for me. You know, I'm taking a loss. Regardless, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm taking a loss. And I said the difference between purpose and passion is that no one loses. You can't be passionate about anything in life without someone taking a loss. Even the fact that my friend is a police officer is the fact that he had to compete with other people in order to become a police officer. He had to be better than other people. So his success, the fact that he made a police officer, means other people lost. And in other words, any area of your life where you're successful, that means you had to outlast or be better than other people, and they end up losing. So purpose is not competitive. It is that nobody loses. It's a unique problem that only you can solve. You're not competing against other people. Like when I'm helping a guy at the gas station, I'm not competing. It's not like if someone else said, no, I got $10, why are you being so cheap? Give 15. I'm like, fine, I'm not gonna compete. Passion, you're going to compete. There's winners and losers. Purpose, there's no competition. The reason we have trouble achieving our purpose is because of passion. Passion is actually the reason we don't achieve purpose. In other words, when you're in your passion, you don't have time for purpose. In other words, if you're on your way to your passion and someone calls and says, hey, can you help me out? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've got things to do. I'm on my way to my passion, whether it's class, whether it's work, whether it's extracurricular activities, it's working out, it's time for whatever it is you're passionate about. You don't want to interrupt it by someone else's problems. Purpose is excuse me, do you have a minute? Oh, man, I got stuff to do. Excuse me, can you help me out? Really, that's the difference between purpose and passion. Purpose is other people's problems that interrupt your passion, and you have to take time out of your passion in order to solve someone else's purpose problem. And I'm talking about purpose problem. It's a once-in-a-lifetime problem. Now, if it's here we go again, this person again with the same problem, say, hey, you can say no, or you can put it off. I have to get you later. Purpose is a problem that needs to be solved immediately. It's a once-in-a-lifetime problem that someone else has. Here's an example. As I said before, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I'm watching the Celtics play a late game against the Denver Nuggets. It's a West Coast game. It goes in overtime. They end up losing. I'm supposed to be the shot worker. So I'm, like I say, wasted 3 hours watching this game, and now I really got to go to work. And I'm 3 hours behind schedule. I leave my apartment. I get on the road. I'm driving. I come around a corner, and there's traffic. I'm like, why is there traffic? It's 11:30 at night. And I see two guys pushing a car, and a lady's inside steering it. I was like, oh, they broke down. I was like, I was like, thinking maybe I should help them. And then I'm saying to myself, nah, they good. They good. I'm only gonna get in the way. I get on the highway, heading 635 west, going to the shop, put in work. And a voice says, and I said the voice of God says, hey, you gotta go back. I'm like, no, they're good. Are you sure? Are you sure, Mr. Purpose? Are you sure, Mr. Zero Regrets? I'm like, okay, now I gotta go back. And I'm mad because I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back and help them. Because I'm trying to get to the shop. I'm trying to get to my passion, my practical passion, my passion that pays my bills. To me, like, probably the most important passion you have in life is the one that pays your bills. And I'm trying to get there, but it's like, I got to turn around and go back to make sure they're okay. Because if I don't go back, it's going to bother me that I didn't help them. And it could be, it's one of those things, well, what if? I go, turn around, and go back. I'm praying they're off the road so I can just keep driving. I drive by, they're off the road, but now they're trying to get the vehicle up an incline into a parking lot. And all three of them are trying to push it. I said, that's not gonna work. Somebody has to steer. I pull in the driveway, I roll out my window, I said, hey, you guys need some help? They said, yep. I jump out, go, me and the two guys, all three of us push the car up the incline. She steers it into the parking lot. I said, y'all good? They said, yes, we got somebody coming for us. I was like, all right, good night, and I'm out. Zero expectations, not a problem I'm looking for when I left the house. Zero obligation, I don't know them, I don't owe them. I was the one person who stopped to help them, no one else did. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. In other words, I can't say, well, I'll get them next time. No, there's no next time, there's only one opportunity. And because I did so, I can say now with zero regrets. Zero regrets. Did I win? Have I won? I can walk away from it. I don't ever have to do that again. At the time, I was 52 years old. I was like, at 52 years old, if I never push another vehicle up an incline, I'm good. I can walk away. It satisfied me to the point I never have to do it again. It was over and above my expectations. I went there with no expectations. I went there with zero expectations. So the fact that I was able to help them out was over and above my expectations. And no one loses. No one took a loss. Now, how does someone take a loss in that situation if I say, hey, y'all got a few dollars I can have? And I'm a little short. Hey, can y'all follow me on social media? Can we be friends? You know, you're asking for, like, there's an expectation. You're asking them for something. Nothing. There's no one loses because I didn't ask for anything. They didn't lose anything because I didn't expect anything from them. So, once again, I won. I won. So, where we are so far, I'd say, don't look for purpose. Purpose is going to find you. But when it finds you, you have to be willing to step away from your passion for a short period of time. Like I took, 10 minutes to help him out, 15 minutes to help him out. Then I'm right back to what? To doing what I love. So I spent 3 hours watching the game, which was my passion. I went to the shop. I spent three hours watching the game. 15 minutes, 20 minutes helping somebody else. And then for the rest of the night, I can go back to my passion. Purpose is pretty much like a commercial break or an interruption of your day. And you just got to take time out, handle it, and then get back to what you're doing. It's not a big deal. It's only a big deal if you don't take advantage of the opportunity. If you ignore it, then it becomes a big deal because it begins to mess with your head to say, what if? The final purpose of purpose is to help eliminate bias. When I moved to Dallas, I took a very low-paying job. I took a job as a custodian substitute in the school system. It was a job that paid a minimum wage. I ended up with that job because I came to Dallas without a job, moved in with family, said and I got to the point where I was getting desperate because I was only supposed to be with my family for 9 months, and about 3 or 4 months in, I still didn't have a job. And I was like, okay. I started praying, I'll take the next job that comes my way. Well, the next job that came my way was this custodial substitute job. And that was the next job that was offered to me. I was like, I'll do it. It pays $7.25 an hour. And it's basically an apprenticeship program to become a custodian in the school system. So it's like you're actually below the custodians, but if you do a good job as a custodian, as a custodian substitute, they'll promote you to the rank of custodian. I didn't even think it existed, but it did. At this very low point in my life professionally, I had to move into a not so great neighborhood. I moved into an apartment, and in the hood, I couldn't even afford furniture. So I'm living in an apartment, no furniture. One night I'm sleeping on the floor. We're trying to go to sleep on the floor, and the couple next door is having an argument. It's a lady that lives there, and a guy who was there to visit, I guess, the boyfriend. They're having an argument, and at some point he hits her. And she says, "Why'd you hit me?" And they argue some more, and he hits her again. And I said, okay, enough of this. I get up, put my shoes on, go next door. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know it's a bad idea to go knock on the door of a domestic situation in the hood. It could end very badly for me. I knew I was like, this could cost me my life, but there was something that was just driving me. I got to do something. I go over there and knock on the door. The door opens, and to my disappointment, guess who opens the door? The lady who lives there. And I'm saying to myself, wow, like, really? Like, you gonna have your lady open the door in the middle of the night? I was like, okay, I guess this is the type of guy I'm dealing with. I said, are you okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, okay, I need y'all to keep it down. She said, yeah, I will, I'm sorry. I was like, no, don't even apologize. Have a good night. And I go back to my apartment, and for the rest of the night, it's dead quiet. Like, no noise, no issues, no more issues for the rest of the time that she was there. Zero expectations, not a problem I'm looking for. Zero obligation. I was not obligated to go over there and do anything. I was the one person who would or could. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In other words, I can't say, well, I'll wait till next time, and I can tell the story now with zero regrets. I can tell the zero regrets. Had I won? Yes, because I can walk away from that and never have to do it again. It's not something I ever want to do again. I don't want to get into in the middle of someone domestic dispute. It's a dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't want to do it. It was over and above my expectations. The expectations were pretty low. That maybe I could die that night or get hurt. So it was over and above my expectations that nothing bad happened to me. And no one lost. No one loses. I didn't lose. I didn't get hurt. You know, the abuse stopped to her, so she didn't lose by me just showing up. It didn't cost her anything. It didn't make the situation worse. And I guess the most controversial part of it, he didn't lose. The abuser didn't lose. He didn't go to jail. He didn't get beat up. Because I guess in a Hollywood scenario, I'm supposed to be at the door. He's supposed to open the door. He's supposed to say something crazy to me. I say something to him. He puts his hands on me, and then I beat him up, right? That's what Hollywood would say. Or the reality of the situation is that, well, she was supposed to call the police, or I was supposed to call the police, or somebody was supposed to call the police, and the police was supposed to come and take him to jail. That's, one is a Hollywood version of it, and the other is the reality of the situation that he should have gone to jail for what he did. Well, in purpose, nobody loses. Passion, yes. Passion says something bad has to happen to him, or the feeling we have that something bad should happen to him is our passion, but that's not purpose. Purpose is about nobody losing. At this point, I began to think, why me? Like in each one of these stories, why me? You could have gotten someone else. You didn't need me to give $10. Anybody could have done it. Anybody in this room could have given $10. push a vehicle. Maybe most of the people in this, some of the people in the room could have pushed a vehicle. Like, you didn't need me at 52 years old pushing a vehicle. I'm in decent shape, but you could have gotten anyone else to push a vehicle who could have been stronger, younger than me to push a vehicle up the incline. Why am I the guy who knocks on the door in the middle of the night? You could have gotten someone else to do it. Why me? And I think the reason that I'm rational, that I'm the person in that situation, because of the narrative. And the final story I told you, the narrative is what? In the hood, we don't take care of our women. It's black men. So as a black man, so if you got a situation where a black man is abusing a black woman, who's normally the hero in that situation? It's the police, right? In a normal situation like that, she gets abused, she wants to call the police, or somebody calls the police. So the police become the hero in the story. So what purpose does, it can change the narrative. In other words, it makes for an unexpected hero. So in our communities, when our women are being abused, it's usually the police who come in and they're the quote-unquote hero of the story. Well, let's change the narrative. Let's put a black man and make him the hero of the story, and make him the person who comes in and solves the problem in order to change the narrative. But the narrative is that black men, we don't take care of our women, and we don't respect and we don't protect our women. So me being in this situation helped to change the narrative. And so maybe if the narrative is, there's a negative image of black men out there, I'm a positive image in that situation. If there's a negative image out there, and if I'm helping the people push the car, if there's a negative image of black men out there, me pushing the car for people that aren't black, like, who shows up to help me in the situation? Oh, it's a black person. Then if you have a negative image of black people because of experience or because of exposure to, information or misinformation, what's going to change this besides someone actually coming out and helping me? Young man at the gas station, maybe his experience or maybe his exposure to black men, it hasn't been that positive. So a black man stepping up and helping him when he's in a crisis situation is what can change his mindset of it. So that's why I feel like I'm being used, because people need to see me as a hero in their story, because maybe they've never been, they've never been in that bad situation. And when you're in a bad situation and the person who comes and help you is not the person you expect, it changes the way you look at that person. It changes the way the person, because you're in a desperate situation. It's like, wow, the only person who came to help me was a person that didn't look like me, or isn't like me, or is different than I am, or not what I expect. And that is the purpose of purpose, because we all have been, had bad experiences or been exposed to misinformation about certain groups of people. And when someone from that group comes and saves you, it makes your mind change. And I've had it through personal experience myself. There's a certain group of people who, in the black community, we're told they don't do business with us. And there's a certain group of people I try to do business with, and they didn't do business with me. And my attitude was, you guys do business with our community, but I can't do business with your community. And I began to develop a bias. And then I was reminded, well, there was one person who, from that community, who has done business with me a couple of times. So it's like, yeah. So I can't say this community doesn't do business with black people because one person from that community did business with me. So I can no longer put that whole narrative on this community. And all it takes is one person to change the narrative about how you feel about a whole community or a whole group of people. When living in the hood, I've always had a distaste or maybe even a hatred toward drug dealers. It's just my thing. And I've seen what drugs have done in my community. I've seen what drugs have done in my family. So I've always had a really bad image of drug dealers. And when I moved to the hood, it was the first time I've been living next to a drug dealer. He was right across in the courtyard from me. And I had no love for him. In other words, if he got shot, if he got killed, if if he go to jail, I'd be like, whatever. That's what he deserves because he's a drug dealer. I had no love for the drug dealer. And I was having some problems with my car where my car wouldn't start and the battery would drain. And I had a friend come by, a friend of mine named Jesse. He would come by and he gave me a ride. We went to go play basketball. He says, what's wrong with your car? I said, oh, I can't get the battery down. He said, why don't you get someone to give you a jump? I said, well, most of the people in the car, most of the people in this neighborhood don't have a car. And the only person who's ever out, the only person I see outside who has a car is a drug dealer. He said, why don't you ask him? I said, I'm not asking a drug dealer for anything. He's like, you need to stop being like that. I said, well, it's just like that. I don't want to have anything to do with a drug dealer. And one day, his car would start. I was like, and I looked across and I saw my neighbor, and someone said, you need to go and see. He's like, well, let me just go in and ask him. And the expectation was really low because I was like, if he says no, even better. It just proves my point. I'll go over to him and say, hey man, you might give me a jump? Oh yeah, man, sure, I got you. Comes over, gives me a jump. That one act of kindness, once in a lifetime problem I had, because he wasn't expecting, he wasn't obligated, he was the one person who could help me. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity because I was only going to ask him once. I was only going to ask him one time. If he said no, I'd never ask him again. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity for him to help me, and he did. And it changed my perspective of him as a drug dealer. Because I knew he was still a drug dealer, but it was like, I finally saw him as a human being. I saw him as something different than a drug dealer. I saw him as a man. I saw him as his father. He had kids. I saw him as a family man. I saw him with his mom. It's like, oh, like he's more like me than he is a drug dealer. He wasn't just a drug dealer. He was like, oh, he's another guy like me. And that's what purpose does. When it puts people in a situation together where it humanizes you. And that's the purpose of purpose. And that eliminates the bias I had against him as a drug dealer. Does that mean I excuse his actions? No. But I finally, instead of seeing him as a drug dealer, I saw him as a fellow human being who had purpose. And his purpose was to solve a once-in-a-lifetime problem that I had. So that is the purpose of purpose. Zero expectations, zero obligation. You're the one person to solve it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for zero regrets. You won when you can walk away from it. It's over and above your expectations, and nobody loses.